Good evening. Welcome to the latest edition of Storm Report Live. We are presented by the pharmacy in Manchester as well as Bennington, JC Tractor, Monto's Pizza of North Adams, Coggins Auto Group, and we are coming to you live tonight to discuss the ongoing toy drive. And we have Beth Sausville with us with the Spirit of Sharing. And Adam, why don't you get it kicked off?
Sure. Our first off-season Storm Report after our season ended a couple of weeks ago. And now we're into, I would say, arguably maybe some of the more important things we do, including the toy drive. Welcome, Beth. I appreciate you coming on. Just talk about the Spirit of Sharing and what that is and how long it's been in Bennington.
Sure. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. My involvement with Spirit of Sharing is rather recent compared to others, but I think that I have stayed involved with it, despite changing times and whatever, because I'm really passionate about the project, and it's been phenomenal. It has grown since I've been involved with it for sure every year. But it actually originated back in 1983 and it was a project by what was then the Bennington Lioness Club, and Ann Mook was the key person who was involved, and she partnered with who was then the director of social welfare, Eunice Schleif. Eunice has since passed away, but they ran the program for many years and served, they delivered toys and food to families all over Bennington County. And they, up to like 1,000 families and 900 children, she reported back at the time when she approached us back in 2014. I sat down with Ann at that time, along with who was then our Agency of Human Services field director, Sadie Fish-Escher. And Ann said, listen, I'm thinking that maybe, I'm involved now in the Catamount Rotary, and I'm wondering if you folks feel like there's a need to resurrect this program. Mm-hmm. And we both wholeheartedly agreed that there was, certainly a need. And so there it was resurrected. And now Ann has since passed the torch to Jenica McAvoy. So Jenica and myself and Michelle Webster from the local DCF office work in unison and coordinate the efforts of our volunteers as well as our families. That's a little bit of the history of it. Last year was our biggest year yet, and we served a little over 400 children. Brought wonderful. Christmas to 400 children. Yeah.
How do you? I mean, what is the process? I know I don't want to speak out of school or out of line here. How deadline wise, and how do they kind of sort of get involved?
Yeah.
I want to say get in line. I don't know how else to say it, but how does that?
Yeah, so families have the deadline for families to apply has since passed.
Yeah.
But families continue to reach out, and what we tell them is to go ahead and fill out the application. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes, either we get larger business donations, so we can incorporate more children into the program, kind of on a last minute basis. Our volunteer base is just amazing in this county. People kind of step up and, I'll put out the need on our Facebook page. We have, it's under Bennington County Spirit of Sharing. And I, identify the need throughout the season and, what the current need is, and, communicate with families through both the page as well as, they can walk into our local office. But all of the forms are on that page to fill out for folks who, wish to volunteer, and we take preferences. Like if they, say, listen, I'd like to shop for, a younger boy because that's, the composition of my family. And I feel like I know what they might like. Then we match them up like that.
The Storm have been doing, working on the toy drive I think it's at least the third one that I know.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I think it was 19.
Yeah, so there's been a couple of these. Talk about working with the Storm and just being able to set up a spot where people can donate toys to both the pharmacy locations, North Street in Bennington, Ways Lane in Manchester, and that community tying together of the two community pieces.
I appreciate the question, Adam, because I think it's one more just part of the overall program that completely, warms my heart. We do a lot with with many community partners to serve our kids and families. And this is one more example of that. The toy drive that the Storm has partnered with the pharmacy around has just been amazing. So last year alone, we've grown to the point where we used to run the program and the picking up and dropping off of gifts out of the local office. And we outgrew that as of, the year before last, and last year moved it off site. The overwhelming response to the toy drive allowed us to serve probably an extra 20 to 30 kids that otherwise wouldn't have been able to be served. So we were able to accommodate some folks who walked in and said, can we sign up now? And, when you're down to the wire, it's hard to have volunteers kind of run out and do the shopping, and the shopping is a little limited, as you know, in the area. So, but, to see their eyes light up because they could pick out a few toys to, jumpstart the Christmas for their children was just amazing.
And it's a big deal. We live in a great area, but there's definitely an economic downturn everywhere. Bennington has seen that. Talk about that when you hear that kind of a story, like, family comes in, parents, working their tails off, struggling, and they can come in and the kids can pick a couple of things out that just enhances, their holiday. What does that mean to you when you hear those kind of stories?
Well, I probably, might get emotional here, but let me share with you a couple of comments. So we leave a kind of a notebook out, and we ask families when they come in to pick up gifts, we ask them if they would be willing to write a little note to our volunteers. And then I share those, several at a time on our Facebook page. But here's a few from last year that were just so amazing. To all of the volunteers and adopters who helped all of the families in need, hope God blesses all of you. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Another one, thank you so much for helping out with my baby. Merry Christmas. Thank you from my family to yours, from all of those you love and support. You all put forth to our community in the spirit of giving and sharing. It's just, and they go on and on. So, that's part of the reason, Adam, why I have been a little territorial when it comes to being involved with this program, to be honest, because it's stories like that, and it's the families coming in with or without their children, and the interactions that just, make Christmas such a blessing and this program such a blessing for our community.
No, I agree. That those are wonderful. I recall seeing them, and for us, it's important to, I don't know how to say this, but for us to be successful, it's important for the community to be successful. Like the biggest thing that I can say, for us is our staying power is because I would like to think we give hopefully as much as we get. I hope, you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't ever want to, take more than what we can return.
Without the community, yeah. we don't exist.
Yes.
And, we're able to help give some of that back in these fundraisers, like the toy drive, like the game. We had a game a few weeks ago that was a fundraiser for the Harvest House, and being able to raise some money and get some items for that. So those kind of community things, we get support from the community. We want to give something back to the community as well.
Sure. Now, that's amazing.
When you in terms of donations, is there something that you like to have more so than anything else, or is it just best to have a little bit of everything?
Well, it's an interesting question, Chris, because this year, I think it's a reflection of the times, and I think that folks are having a harder time than ever, because what I have seen is kind of this overwhelming need for winter clothing, like a lot of requests for boots for kids, for winter coats, things like that. And I think part of that is also a reflection of the American Red Cross ran their Coats for Kids program for a number of years, partnered with JCPenney, which doesn't exist in Bennington anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that that's unfortunate, because the need hasn't gone away.
Yeah.
I think so many families look forward to being able to outfit their children, warmly for the winter months here in Vermont. And without that, I think it's been a challenge.
And
go ahead, Adam. Sorry.
I know that since I worked at the Banner for 14 years, and I know that they did Warm the Children every year, where they would gather, clothes and coats and things like that for the kids as well. So there are definitely places trying to do that, but like you said, with the times the way they are, it's like people need those are need things. The toys are great. Obviously that's important as well, but those needs are very, very important.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen a theme of that this year more than ever, I think, of, more needs than wants, which is, good, and yet, a little sad.
Now, how would you, I know we're talking two different things, maybe even two different organizations, but, would they, if somebody wanted to donate, say, a new coat, would you, provide the conduit for that to get to somebody, or how would that work? I don't want to step on anybody, another organization's toes or anything, but I know that if we put our minds to it, I'm sure we can come up with some items for that.
Yeah, sure. So, I think that, certainly, I'm happy to have folks reach out to me via email or through our Facebook page. And we can, kind of coordinate, efforts to receive items and get them to, those in need.
Okay. Well, that's good. I don't, not that we would ever say no to a coat in a toy drive box, but
Sure.
I don't want you to, I don't want that to create I don't even want to call it a problem.
Right.
Just another
conflict or
just another challenge that maybe we weren't prepared for. But I'm very happy that we're able to have the relationship that we do with you guys. I think you guys do amazing things, and we're the relationship and being able to hopefully give back and hopefully make a difference. So I really appreciate you guys working with us. It's been very fulfilling on a lot of levels.
Well, and certainly, I extend that to, Jenica and other folks from the Catamount Rotary. We couldn't pull this off without that, the collaboration with them as well. It's kind of like it takes a village. So we're really, we're thankful to you guys for what you're doing to help out, to the Rotary for what they're doing to help out. And, and we're happy to coordinate the efforts.
So I haven't been in the pharmacy myself, but I heard that at last check, it was a very full box at the Bennington pharmacy. How is the drive going so far? And obviously we need to continue that up through the 10th and beyond.
Yeah. So at present time, we have applications, and we're trying to pair. We have 162 families with 362 children that we're trying to serve. We have so far 53 volunteers, individual volunteers, or small organizations, but there's many children left to be paired. So, certainly if businesses wanted to get, monetary donations to the Catamount Rotary under Spirit of Sharing, they could do that. And then the Catamount Rotary has partnered with Interact students at the high school to do some of the shopping. They've been phenomenal in doing that, taking the wants and needs lists of kids and just shopping. And or, if folks wanted to shop themselves, they can reach out through the Facebook page, and I can make sure that they get paired right up.
Well, that's excellent.
Well, I appreciate you, again, coming on here, and we want to be able to promote these things because they're a big deal for the families of Bennington and Southern Vermont. Again, I appreciate the time you've given us, and hopefully we can help drive, no pun intended, more toys in the box and more people to get the help they need, and then things that they hopefully can do for their families.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Again, I'm very thankful to the volunteers, to the Southern Vermont Storm, and the pharmacy, as well as Catamount Rotary, for the partnership.
Well, excellent. Thanks again. I'm sure we'll talk soon, and let's make year 3 the best year, and then build on year 3 to year 4. So again, thank you, and have a great evening.
Yes, you as well. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, Adam. That was good to catch up with her because I learned a lot. It's been a good experience. So hopefully we can continue to build on that. So with that kind of wraps up this edition for the most part. We'll be back.
Let's make sure we get the plugs in there again on Facebook. Spirit of Sharing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you can search up.
Yes, in the chat or in the comments. Yep.
And then there, drop-off spots are both pharmacy locations, one on North Street in Bennington, and then the other one on Ways Lane in Manchester. So, if people can, obviously times are, what they are, but if people can spare a little extra, to help a kid, have something they need or want, that's a big deal. So hopefully everybody can contribute as best they can.
Oh, no doubt. It was also good to know, there's other needs too. I think that's important. Because that's been a challenge too, is I've had that thought in the past, there's been, I don't want to get, too far down the rabbit hole here, but even when we did the food drive, which was very, very successful. I want to, take a minute to thank everybody for that too, because I don't think we've done one of these since then. But wildly successful. I want to say there was 300 items or so, give or take. So, we thank the community for that. We thank for everybody that came into town for that game. But anyway, I guess long story short is we've kicked around the idea of doing a coat drive. But it's just, I don't know, it's hard to fit in the calendar. You do the food drive, and then you do the toy drive, but you don't want to, disconnect yourself from the toy drive because it's been so successful. So now we just kind of have to take a look at it and see if we can pull off all 3 without shortchanging anything else. So
right, and the people around the Storm and the community that supports us support those things as well. So
yeah,
it's a symbiotic relationship, definitely.
No, without a doubt. So, but yeah. If we're, we'll be back next week. We're gonna do the season wrap up show, for lack of a better phrase, and kind of lay out what happened during the season, and kind of touch on
where we're going from here, possibly.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot going on. There's a lot of good stuff. We had a really successful year, and I'm looking forward to kind of laying all that out because I think a lot of it, I wouldn't say goes unnoticed. It's just the pace of the season doesn't allow you to stop and celebrate it much. So I'm looking forward to doing that next week. So
sounds good.
All right. See you guys.
Bye for now.
Yes. ETM.